And every American, every person watching should know that you should max out your HSA if you're battling to prevent or reverse a chronic condition, and you can qualify to have your money go to supplements, to H Sleep, to Peloton, to Athletic Greens, to Momentous, to what I believe are life-saving clinical interventions.
AG1 is a life-saving medical intervention now. That's Calley Means, the founder of Truemed, which lets you use pre-tax health savings account and flexible savings account dollars to buy things like supplements, red light therapy, ice baths. Given Calley's role in helping RFK Jr. go MAGA and appearances on Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan and in front of the Maha congressional hearing, he's been pleading the case for true medicine in the form of supplements for a while, because that's how he makes a living. But notice the word clinical, which I'm going to return to throughout this video. I'm Derek Barris, co-host of Conspirituality and founder of Cyrus Health, both places where I test health and science claims and see how they hold up. And in this case, not so well, given that in March of this year, the IRS sent out a warning letter to companies about companies like Truemed using HSA and FSA dollars in questionable ways. And yeah, the IRS regulates HSAs and FSAs, which is its own problem. Which is really why I'm making this video. We already have so many problems with health and healthcare in America, and there are many things to focus on in order to get it right. Why would someone like Calley Means run with a narrative that doesn't really hold up to evidence? Let's take a look and remember these three words: clinical and 8 sleep.
Like the guidelines and the standard of care when an American is on insurance or on a government program like a Medicaid, it's to prescribe them a drug. There's no discussion of sleep. There's no incentives for sleep. So if we have the right clinical guidelines.
Got that? We need the right clinical guidelines for sleep because no one has ever talked about sleep being important for health before. Here's the funny thing. You can read the American Academy of Sleep Medicine's guidelines online. They reviewed 864 published articles about the importance of sleep, as well as what not getting enough sleep leads to for various age groups. The first line of recommended treatment is behavioral cognitive therapy for insomnia. Pharmacological treatment is second line or an adjunct treatment, because sleep researchers try to get to the root cause before they prescribe anything. These are the clinical guidelines. So it really makes me wonder, why is Calley so focused on sleep?
We 8 sleep. So we proudly do a large portion of 8 sleep sales right now. 8 sleep changed my life. You want to put better sleep, 20% better sleep, up against these drugs with sleep's impact on all these chronic conditions?
8 sleep changed my life is a common tactic with wellness influencers, using an anecdote before immediately pivoting to talking about clinical evidence. But where does that 20% number come from? First off, 8 sleep makes a temperature-controlled mattress cover along with a lifting mechanism and control box, which the company claims is the ultimate sleep solution. Their scientific advisory board includes Andrew Huberman and Peter Attia. And apparently spending between $2,300 and $4,700 on a mattress cover is the epitome of true medicine. If you want to use your FSA contributions to buy the top tier model, however, the $3,200 maximum annual amount that you can contribute isn't gonna cut it. But spending taxed dollars on 20% improvement in sleep is worth it, right? I mean, this is clinical evidence. Interestingly, one of Calley's big calls for reform is to stop pharma-funded studies in the FDA approval process, which I'm all for. Let's get more government money into the funding process for studies so that pharma doesn't have to fund it, and we can be more confident that the evidence is clear on these medications. Yet when 8 Sleep funds studies conducted by 8 Sleep employees, no problem. It's true medicine. The first study didn't have a control. 54 people, 45 of whom were white, meaning it's not a very diverse demographic group, slept without the mattress cover for a week, then slept with it for a week while wearing a Fitbit. Good pilot to generate a hypothesis, I guess, but clinical evidence? This part is fascinating though. Subjects were excluded if they had a pacemaker, restless leg syndrome, a high apnea score, insomnia, or taking beta blockers. You know, people who might have trouble sleeping, being sold a product that's marketed to give you amazing sleep. Why would an insomniac want that? The second study, which was also conducted by 8 Sleep, included 50 people, and it was entirely self-reported. Which again, finding a hypothesis fine, but clinical evidence? It's a sciencey study. I actually have no problem with 8 Sleep's product. I would imagine sleeping in a temperature-controlled environment like that could be beneficial. Some people do argue that having a more flexible hypothalamus response to the actual environmental conditions that you're living in is better for your health. But let's face it, most Americans sleep in climate-controlled environments already. And if a product helps people sleep a little better, that's great. But I'm highly skeptical that industry-funded pilot studies that are selling a product that only wealthier people can afford is really the apex of medicine. Not so sure that a mattress cover that's more expensive than most mattresses is going to make America healthy again. If you're getting a percentage of those sales though, I do know who's benefiting from that product. So just be honest about it. You want to fix health? Feed people. Shelter them, give them access to healthcare. That might just be true medicine, and in this case, we do have actual data to support that hypothesis.